All right, so we're here to have a discussion about whatever topics you guys chose. Currently having an agenda. Ricardo's going to be going first, followed by Emma, then Ashlyn, then myself. Discussions are going to be held to about 5 minutes. Also, at some point in time, it's going to be an active discussion, so question and answer type deal. And I will let everybody know the time. So if you hear me kind of butt in, I'm just trying to give you a heads up of the time. All right, Ricardo, whenever you're ready, or if anybody has any questions, we can go ahead and start.
All right, I'm going to start. Let me know when you start your timer.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So my topic was the importance of nonverbal communication, and I want to talk about how I believe it's important, in that I believe it's important because it's subconscious. Nonverbal communication, like eye contact and facial expressions, subconsciously like influence the way you are perceived and how your message perceived. And I want to ask y'all if what how ways y'all think y'all subconsciously have communicated non-verbally, like with your facial expression and body posture.
Yeah, I'll go first. I think nonverbal cues such as body language, posture, and facial expressions contribute really to make a big first impression to others. Confident posture, eye contact, and friendly smile, can help establish trust and credibility. Really,
Yeah, I definitely think whenever I talk, I like communicate a lot with my face, which isn't always a good thing. So it's definitely something that should be worked on, but definitely like your face says a lot about what you're thinking.
I would definitely agree with that because it's like people mainly read your face, and I would definitely say I have a problem with like facial expression, and I feel like your body language too. I just feel like it can really put off a certain vibe.
All right, I'm gonna go on this video. I cut it over here to 250, where she talks about how AI, how it takes, not that it takes her job, but like it's gonna take certain job, or it can take certain jobs, and what jobs that opens up for us. And over here she talks about. And she's talking about how like the AI won't be able to communicate properly with empathy towards a patient, but a human doctor will. And I want to ask y'all, if AI were to take your job, how your role in that job would be important with communication, like how you can use communication to still have a job in that sense. Sorry,
yeah. Well,
that's kind of a weird question.
yeah. I mean, I have a hard time answering it, but I guess I'm gonna go with the cultural sensitivity side of things. AI can't be culturally sensitive, so it's going to be hard to replace a person when it comes to that.
Is
Yeah,
yeah.
like now they have like when you call certain places, they have like a voice recording or like AI talking to you and stuff like that. And I feel like it's just not the same as like you actually being able to talk to a person. And I do think that someone else, like it should be an actual person talking to you. And then they're also taking like big factories, they're making it into like a lot of technology and stuff like that. So,
I feel like for my job specifically, I'm supposed to provide a lot of comfort and stuff because I work with children and I pierce them. And so with AI not really having any like sensitivity, I don't really think it'd be great for it to replace my job, but I guess I don't know
Yeah,
how
like
that's hard to answer.
yeah.
Okay. Ricardo, closing thoughts. We're at 5 minutes.
all right. I just want to close with uh the fact that around this video she talks about how we're always communicating and that uh you're always not like subconsciously non-verbally communicating with the way you act, your body posture. And once you understand that, it might make it easier for you to control your nonverbal communication and influence your message.
Okay. All right. Good job, Ricardo. All right.
I don't know.
Next, we're going to have Emma. It's going to be discussing managing time and priorities in high stress situations. Emma, you can go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay. So I think when it comes to managing time and prioritizing in high stress situations, you just need to mostly whatever is has like the closest due date or whatever has the most importance definitely needs to be prioritized. You also need to focus at one thing at a time and set realistic objectives because if you stack everything on top of each other and try to do several things at once, it can definitely stress you out more. It can make the little things you're trying to do seem much more stressful than it should be. Um, you also need to have good communication with whoever you're doing your things with. So, like if you're at work and you have to get an assignment done and you just realize you can't do it, you need to have good communication to getting a hold of them and letting them know that you might need an extension or just asking for help. The TED Talk I ended up watching was The Art of Effective Communication. And I really liked him as a speaker. His name was Marcus Alexander. He said people waste time with inefficient communication, which could lead to wasting emotions and misunderstandings, which can make a situation more stressful, which I do feel like is very true, just because misunderstanding people and not having good communication and just not knowing what you're doing in a whole can definitely stress you out a lot. So I was just wondering, what would y'all do if y'all were in a high stress situation?
In a high stress situation, uh, usually I try to keep calm, try to focus on one thing. Because if I'm focused on different things at once, that overstimulates me. So like if I'm like working and I get like a bunch of things like I gotta focus on, uh I can't really focus on all them multitask. If I focus on one thing at a time, I might not get everything done. Like I might be slower, but at least I'll get everything done in like in a proper manner instead of trying to get everything done at once and do it uh uh hap haphazardly. Sorry about that.
I
Yeah,
would say definitely prioritizing, doing some kind of priority matrix or possibly breaking things into smaller pieces and when possible, trying to delegate it.
I would definitely say I would agree with Ricardo and like breaking it down because I feel like taking smaller steps of like things definitely helps me.
Yeah. What would y'all say, like, when y'all have several things going on in your life, how would y'all best manage your time?
I personally like to set myself reminders on like my little calendar on my phone, to kind of let me know like what is next. And it definitely, I would say it definitely helps me like know everything.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I do the exact same thing.
Yeah. I like putting down like my assignments when there's due or whatever. So like I know, oh, I've it lets me know a week before, so I have enough time to actually prepare for it and get it done. So like I don't just do it last minute.
Yeah, basically, I agree with everybody. I like to have my stuff put on a planner. I like to plan ahead and have something visual I can see. It kind of helps me stay on track. We're at 4 minutes, 15 seconds as well.
Okay. Um, can y'all think about any like personal experience where y'all procrastinated a lot and then realized that you messed up and then like could you fix it? And like how so?
I I guess in high school, I was not very good at doing like homework and stuff. Like I didn't want to do any of my assignments. And I like procrastinated all of my schoolwork and I ended up getting zeros in the classes. And so I ended up having to like go to my teacher and be like, hey, is there any way I can get this in? Um, and that was kind of how I fixed it, is just like having to do it all in that one day, basically, which was absolutely terrible. So I did learn from that.
All right, we're at 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, so all in all, I would just say everyone needs to learn how to manage their time and try not to procrastinate on everything because it can definitely make life stressful. So just keeping track of everything can definitely help out with everything.
All right. So next up, we're going to have Ashlyn. She's going to be talking about communicating change effectively within an organization.
Mine is actually going to be how to make anxiety your friend.
Okay. All right.
Um,
Correction. How to make anxiety your friend. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
so in his TED talk, David explains that anxiety isn't always bad and that it can help us. Instead of fighting anxiety, he suggests accepting it and using its energy in a positive way. He shares four simple steps, which are identify, share, embrace, and let go. And by understanding and working with our anxious feelings, we can improve our mental health well being and handle challenges better. Rather than seeing anxiety as an enemy, we should view it as a natural part of our life that can guide us toward growth. With the right mindset and strategies, anxiety can become a helpful tool rather than something that holds us back. Um, how does our mindset about anxiety impact the way we experience it?
Yeah, I definitely think that everyone perceives anxiety in a different way. So personally, I just um when I have anxiety, sometimes I'll procrastinate things worse, but then also sometimes it'll just motivate me to do better. I feel like it honestly just depends on what's going on at that point in time, but it's always different for every person.
I feel like, I mean, it can be used as like a motivator. If you use it in that way, I mean, I guess it takes time to be able to use it that way, but if you can, then it can push you to take action, prepare thoroughly, and meet deadlines.
Yeah, I think it depends on the level of anxiety you have because like sometimes anxiety is it's so overwhelming. You gotta you gotta like take more than a step
Mhm.
back. Um, some people take medication for it, and like some people like have like lower levels of anxiety where like if they just get what they're anxious about done, it just kind of goes away. With some people, like it's kind of different, you know?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he does end up talking about that in the video too. Um, where if like you have more severe anxiety, then you should actually go and seek help
Yeah.
versus
I feel like,
taking his steps.
yeah, some people can grow out of it, but some people, it's more of having to go to a doctor to get help with that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
What are some practical ways to reframe anxiety as something helpful rather than harmful?
Back to like what someone, I think Jay said it. I think
Yeah,
everyone kind of said a little bit of it, but you can use it to just help motivate yourself rather than put like see as a bad thing. It can be a positive.
Yeah, I feel
yeah,
like you can, use it to enhance your performance. I obviously this takes time to be able to do that, but kind of embrace the adrenaline rush and use it to stay focused or energized or stay sharp.
yeah. It's definitely a good motivator for you. Just it's might not be the healthiest because stress it provides a lot of stress, and stress is like not healthy for your body. So like it's if you get anxiety, it's probably best to like find a way to cope with it.
Yeah,
But
I would definitely say like positive self-talk can help shift our perspective from fear to empowerment. So I would say that definitely helps. How does anxiety affect your physical and mental performance, and how can we use it to our advantage?
So we're at 4.5 minutes.
Do you want me to reread the question?
Yeah, go ahead
yeah,
and reread it.
Yeah.
Okay. How does anxiety affect our physical and mental performance, and how can we use it to our advantage?
I feel like sometimes it can be like a mental block, and so it won't let us like be to like our full self, and that can definitely like be a problem in the long run.
All right, we're at 5 minutes. If you want to go ahead and close it out.
Um, I think in the end, he really just says that like you can make anxiety more of like a positive thing than a negative.
Right. Uh, this last but not least will be myself. I will be discussing ethical decisions in business environments. Uh, Basically, the art of persuasive storytelling is what I'm going to be kind of going over. It's going to relate back to the TED Talk. So basically, storytelling is a powerful tool that we can use for persuasion or influence. It taps into people's emotions and basically creates memorable experiences. Uh, it makes complex ideas more relatable. So when we hear a story, we engage with it on a deeper level. It's more than just processing facts or data. The emotional connection that we make with it makes the message more compelling and persuasive. So, what do you guys think? What do you think emotional stories, or why do you think emotional stories are more persuasive than just stating facts?
I feel like you can have like a better connection with it rather than just listening. You actually like connect with what the person's saying. rather than them just like telling you stuff and you being like, okay, yeah.
I think it's like more entertaining. Because I don't know, like I feel like I personally would be more entertained by a story than just like a fact. So it would definitely get me to like be more in it.
Yeah, make it more humanizing, like a fact or with a story would like make it more easier like take in because cold hard facts like don't really not many people have good experiences with that. Like it's hard, like the analogy like hard to swallow pills. Um, it's hard to like take down facts, but if you like tell a story with it, it makes it like more comfortable, more human.
Yeah.
I feel like stories make it easier to remember.
Yeah.
And also kind of along the same line, you know, people do a lot whenever their emotions are running, uh, and emotions can drive people's decisions. You know, if you've ever thought about a time when, you really want something, and I don't, maybe even with these ads where like you've looked at something and they just keep playing it over and over and over, and it just kind of makes you want it more. So what do you guys think would make a story compelling? Kind of draws the audience in and makes it more interesting.
Well, on the TED Talk that you had with yours, there was a way that she presented it that like really like pulled me into what she was saying. It was a way that she actually acted out as the person that made me really want to watch and pay more attention to what she was doing. And so I definitely think it's the way you like instead of just like being normal and just like saying it in like a monotone voice, it's the way that she actually put like emphasize things.
I don't really think that like I agree with Emma with how she was like saying things. I feel like instead of being monotone and boring, like it's harder to listen to things that are monotone and boring. So I would agree with Emma on that.
And I like how that kind of goes back to my what I was talking about, how nonverbal communication, the way you say things subconsciously, like it's better than like being just monotone.
Yeah. Okay. One last quick question. So how can we use persuasive storytelling in real life? I mean, I'll kind of go into it a little bit. You can use it to inspire, motivate teams, create a shared vision, something like that. We're at 4.5 minutes.
I feel like you really just summed it up right there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was honestly the best example you could do.
I mean, if you try and sell something, you can like use persuasive storytelling to like uh get someone to like buy what you're selling.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. All right. So kind of the key lesson here, storytelling isn't about just telling events. It's about making people feel something. Next time you need to persuade someone, think about how you can tell them a story instead of just listing facts. And that's all I got. All right, guys. Everybody has gone. Does anybody have any last questions?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
You can
Gonna
go ahead
end the
and
video.
end the record.